Good morning, Ratman. I'm your host, Existential Dread Che, and joining me is my co-host, Instential Dread Corgi.
Instential? What makes me instential?
Because I'm existential, and you're essential.
You're so funny.
Yeah, I know. That's why I write the podcast. So, today's episode is brought to you a very special sponsor, us! We released a comic as a short. Go watch it. Also, somewhere on Reddit. It didn't do very well. I should upload it to Instagram as well. That's che.ratman. Follow me. Go check it out if you haven't already. We hopefully will release them semi-regularly. Depends if Corgi does what I don't pay her to do. Corgi, this is your opportunity to say something.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, my brain is just empty. Empty of all thought, empty of all creativity. Nothing is going on in my head. Except for Legends of Adventurous, because I've just been binging that recently while I work. Don't call me a clown. That's the sound of my nightmares. Just you, sleep paralysis demon, hovering over me.
I think that's the Simpsons bit of just the Homer's inner thoughts. It's just a monkey.
Yep, Simpsons movie.
Cycle, yeah. Anyway, today's episode is also brought to you by Rat Steak. Ruin your life. Bet Warpstone you don't have on Bet Warpstone you don't have on Blood Bowl games you don't care about. Rat Steak is happy to announce a brand new betting avenue. You can now bet on what clan takes a seat on the council. You can also double your winnings by betting exactly which of the billions of minor clans takes that seat. Try Rat Steak today.
I don't know if this is supposed to be gambling, but because it just sounds straight up like Outback Steakhouse. Which,
there's one of those in Australia, and it's I think it's in fucking Andorran, but it's in a suburb in the city that I live in. It is a really sketch suburb, but I remember someone made a video going to the only Outback Steakhouse in Australia, and it was like he showed up in the city, and it was Brisbane, and I'm like, wait, I live there. What? You mean to tell me there's an Outback Steakhouse in my city? I should go there. You mean to tell me it's in Anala? I'm not going there.
Anyway, welcome back to part 2 of the Genestealers Cult. We finally got around to it.
Yeah, fucking part two of the Genestealer Cult. So we're back in the Genestealer Cults. Sorry we skipped last week. I was busy, and then skipped last week because I wanted this to come out at the end, but then stuff happened and I had to push it to Friday, and then Corgi was just like, my brain don't work good, so maybe we don't work Friday, because I explained some like rudimentary information to her and she went, I got nothing. And then we didn't record because Corgi couldn't take information in while we were playing fucking Marvel Rivals. And then I might as well just, instead of releasing this on Sunday, just release it on Tuesday, the day that is supposed to be our release schedule, instead of Wednesday, and actually move it back to having our Tuesday release schedule. Why Tuesday instead of Wednesday? Yeah. But yeah, the video also just like, I somehow fucked my back, and sitting hurt for like 3 weeks. Last Tuesday was the first day I was able to sit for longer than like an hour and not be in pain. So, woo. And I had the time to actually sit.
Yeah, but that's what you get for going to the gym. Stupid.
Wasn't going to the gym. I don't know how I fucked my back. It was a muscle problem. But yeah. Anyway, we'll just get right into it now. He says 15 minutes into the recording.
Classic.
Yeah. So, Corgi, we're doing the Rusted Claw. I feel like there's pictures, but I'm not seeing them. So maybe there aren't pictures. Oh, there are pictures. There's a single picture. We'll get to that. Shit. Oh, another picture just crashed.
Well, can't believe you broke an image. That's a new one.
Okay, so, stemming on the edges of Imperial space, there is pictures. I remember this. Stemming from the edges of Imperial space, they originate on the arid wastes of Broken Hill. No, wait. You seem... right on the eastern edge of Ultima Segmentum. Here's the picture, Corgi. This whole, minute-long thing of me struggling to find pictures. There it is. So right on the eastern edge of that.
Ultima Segmentum.
East is the right-hand side, by the way.
I'm glad you told me that because I'm very much the kind of person that would unironically think in my most tired moments, well, north is whichever way you're facing, right?
Fucking so this place, Broken Hill, it's your standard affair. Miners work to harvest precious minerals from the upper class and are forbidden from owning wealth themselves. Very
I
different
hate
to
to
Australia.
rehash. I hate to rehash an old joke, but doesn't that sound familiar?
Well, kind of, but very different to Australia actually, because I know how much they get paid in Australia. Just
I don't even know how much
yeah.
I get paid.
You don't get paid.
Yes, I do.
Is the answer to that? Not by me.
Well, obviously not by you.
Yeah.
He takes all the profits and hoards them for himself, so he
I
can
almost
make
sent
more
you
Lego.
$50 for finally finishing that comic, but then I spent $500 on Lego. So, you didn't get
fine.
paid.
Yeah, well, relax. I paid myself in games that I refused to buy more games until I 100% the previous game I've bought.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm trying to do that now.
Anyway, if you're an engineer and you want to make a lot of money, become a miner in Australia. Just don't do meth. Because that's why all of our tradies and miners, despite being paid over $100,000 per year, are all fucking poor and in poverty, is because they're all on meth. When you don't do meth, you make a lot of money. But when you're spending half of your income on ice. But the difference between the last sentence that I said, which is very different to Australia, I know how much they get paid, and the next sentence is while writing, I have a cinnamon bicky. So think as I'm writing the script, I'm eating cinnamon bickies. So if they do get caught smuggling some fruits of their labor, they quote, they get quote auto flogged. That sounds fun. They also get hanged and their corpses branded with thief runes as a warning.
Yeah, sounds pretty typical.
Then, one day, the miners dug up an old buried spaceship and woke up a hibernating Genestealer. And thus, cults. I saw a picture the other day. We've talked about this before. Kuberpedia and my love of Kuberpedia. But something came up on a, what is this, Reddit? And it was this weird spaceship thing that's just in Kuberpedia. And they're like, what the fuck is this building in Kuberpedia? And it's like, oh, that's the set of Riddick. And then all the Pitch Black, and all the cops were like, oh, that's the set of Pitch Black. It's just in the town. And you can just go there. It's just in someone's front yard, a decaying spaceship from the set of Pitch Black.
Like, it's still there?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have kept it too.
Yeah. One of many reasons to go to Kuberpedia. Oh yeah. Then, with the help of Rogue Trader friends, whether the rogue traders were cultists or not, I don't know. They spread across the frontier. Here's a quote. Most cults have humble beginnings, but those of the rusted claw embrace their disdain for material possessions to the point that it becomes a bitter refusal to accept that anything has lasting value. Not even themselves. They are all nihilists, all believing that they are but corroding material in a universe riddled with entropy. Only by being subsumed, by being remade, body and soul, by the unknowable entities they worship, can they ever become something more. Until that day, they are nothing more than ambulatory scraps of flesh and bone, tattered cloth, and rusting metal, and anyone who thinks differently is a fool in need of a rude awakening.
So they're communists?
No, but, so they're all, they're nihilists. We believe in nothing, Lebowski. They're just like supreme nihilists who just don't want anything. It's not possession should be shared across all, which also isn't what communists believe. But, it's not possession should be shared across all. It's no one should have any possessions because it's pointless. So they believe in nothing, Lebowski. They also all look darrow as fuck because none of them take care of their appearance.
Me.
Yeah, we're also going to be a little quote heavy on this one. Sorry. This wide-roaming Genestealer cult believes that the emptiness of the void consumes all, even metal. They see the tarnish of every coin and the rust that eats away at every vehicle as divine entropy brought to their world by their hallowed patriarch, and they welcome its virulent spread. They hold fast to the fact that all the works of the Imperium will rust away, corroded in body and soul, and that only the void that is left in its place will have true meaning and permanence. One day, they know they too will become part of the nothingness beyond. In the meantime, they will speed the dissolution of all civilization in any way they can. So they're just like your standard accelerationist nihilists. They're just fucking... there's a political movement in China. They're doing that. Again, not communism. It's a different political movement in China. I don't remember the Chinese name, but it's the English it translates to let it rot. It's just...
That's metal as fuck.
Yeah. It's just... it's a youth movement to refuse to participate within society because China's not doing too hot. And they're just sort of acknowledging, yes, this isn't looking good, so we might as well just let it burn rather than try to fix it. Hence the let it rot movement.
Just hearing let it rot sounds like some Necron sort of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm cool for that.
To the surprise of no one, the Chinese government, not big fans of the let it rot movement.
Really, I thought they would have been huge fans of people saying, yeah, everything fucking sucks. Let's just not give a shit anymore.
The Rusted Claw is named that because their shit is rusted. However, not entirely out of a refusal to maintain. They just do that. The Maguses are capable of rusting anything they touch, including adamantium. The cult think that this is a miracle. Auto Xenos thinks that they might have nano-sized symbiotes that can consume metal they possibly picked up from the Tyranids, and that's how they can eat through metal in minutes.
So, like, rust monsters.
Yeah, sure. I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah, sure.
It's D&D.
Oh, never played it. The other thing about the Genestealers life cycle in the Rusted Claw is that they really love the Kelemorphs. That's the cowboy. They appear a lot more frequently than in other cults. Alongside Atalan Jackals, called in the Codex Atalan Riders, not to be confused with the Atalan Rough Riders, a completely different thing. You following, Corgi?
No.
Okay. The Atalan Jackals, aka the Atalan Riders, not to be confused with the Atalan Rough Riders.
There's Rough Riders?
Yeah. They're Arabic, and they fight for the guard, and they have grenades on the tips of their spears, and they ride horses and impale people with their spears that have grenades on the tips. Woo! Anyway.
Okay, I think I do remember drawing, like, a grenade on a stick.
That was for Trench Crusade.
Oh, whoops.
Grenade on a stick has been around for quite a while. The Japanese used them in World War II.
The silly Japanese always doing terrifying things.
Yeah. How best can we kill ourselves? Let's find out.
How best can we kill ourselves and others?
Yeah. Strap a grenade on a stick, weld people into a plane, maybe we'll weld some people into torpedoes. Let's find out.
Don't forget all the child murder.
Yeah, well, that's less,
that's just spawn
how
killing.
best to kill ourselves. Though, to be fair, a lot of the people they welded into planes were, in fact, children. So, you know, bit of both. The Atalan Jackals are bikers, quote, who roam under the unforgiving suns of the frontier worlds in large mechanized gangs. While they wear leather coats and broad-brim hats ostensibly as protection against the elements, they mainly serve to hide their hybridization from prying eyes. So, in other words, Mad Max cowboys.
Sorry, hold on, let's just go back to that again. This is Genestealer Cults, and we're talking about Mad Max-esque mutates.
Yes. Cowboys that ride motorcycles through the desert wastes of Australia.
Is this going on my to-do list?
In worship of a god. An alien Lovecraftian god.
Is this going on my to-do list? That fucking long car chase scene from, I think it was Mad Max 3?
Just on your to-do list, film the entirety of Mad Max.
No!
Also, I think it's Mad Max 4, but with Genestealers. You're going to have to write a script, you're going to have to hire a crew, you're going to have to find funding. That's on your to-do list.
Ah!
But hey, you live in the right country for it.
But not in the right mindset. I can't handle responsibility of being ED.
No. I should go to Broken Hill. I looked it up. It's only like 11 hours away, 16 hours away.
Sweet, road trip.
Yeah. It's closer to you. 6 hours away from you.
So when you come pick me up then.
Final quote for these guys. It was the Kelemorph known as Golden Talon of the New Seam Saints who first gilded one of his claws by dipping it in molten gold taken from the Palace of Commerce.
He loves gold.
This symbolic act... Right. This symbolic act of desecration was a potent reminder that though their ore masters might grind them down, in the fullness of time, the cult would take whatever it wanted, and nothing could stop them. Although the rusted claw eschew wealth, valuing body and soul above ephemeral concepts such as mortal possessions, they are more than happy to remind the overlords of those worlds they infest that their trinkets and gewgaws can be snatched from their weak hands, just as their breeding stock can be taken from them and turned to a higher cause with a single Genestealer's kiss.
That's pretty gnarly, but I just also had the cursed thought that the biker guys are just basically Dennis from the SpongeBob movie.
Been a while since I watched the SpongeBob movie. So what we're going to do now is cover up some exploits they got up to that I forgot to do in the last episode. So at the end of this, I will probably do I will do some of the last episode's factions. I think only one or two of them had any exploits. So the Rusted Claw show up on Saharia and creative name by the way, Saharia. I wonder what that's a reference to. And make no attempt to conceal themselves. The planetary governor doesn't want to report this in case he gets exterminatus. So he has a cunning plan. He secretly scans everyone on the planet, sorting the xenostated from the uninfected. The uninfected are slowly, secretly put in an underground bunker system that can only be entered through the use of a cellular syringe system that makes sure you aren't infected. Once his, quote, core supporters are all safe, he bombs the planet using hyperfusion missiles. A week of this later, 99% of the population of this surface is eradicated. Again, he didn't want to get the planet exterminatus.
I mean,
so he just killed 99%.
I hate saying it, but he kind of had a point considering how terrifying Genestealers are.
Yeah, but exterminatus in a planet means destroying the planet, killing everyone, and he went, no, that's too far. I'm just going to kill everyone. Okay?
I'm going to kill everyone
Idiot.
except for my cool friends.
Yeah. It's bad when you do a genocide. It's fine when I do it.
Honestly, that could be used as a tagline for so many atrocities throughout human history.
Fucking, after 99% of the population on the surface is eradicated, and only the strongest and most resourceful are able to survive the apocalypse.
Like you.
Which coincidentally happens to be most of the Genestealer cults.
Oh, I thought this was straight up going to be a... Like me, I just wouldn't die to it.
Yeah. The Rusted Claw then proceed to travel the post-apocalyptic wastes and hunt down the Vault Dwellers, and one by one, they get got.
Wait a second.
The time known as the Dust Hunt. And even the planetary governor is eventually converted into the Rusted Claw. Because war never changes.
I hate that you so effortlessly weaseled in that Fallout reference there.
There's also the Vault Dwellers.
Yeah, that's why I said wait a second. I was like, hold on. See what you're doing, you bitch.
So,
boy.
on the planet of Anarcharos, again, really creative with these
I'm
names.
sorry. It doesn't help that immediately my brain auto-filled on the planet of and just went on the planet of Arrakis?
No. It's actually like Anarcharos. Okay, so Anarcharos, basically. But because I'm an Australian, all A's have an R at the end of them. So it's Anarcharos in my accent, but it's Anachros. So it's not Anarcharos as in anarchy. It's Anarcharos. But I don't pronounce A's that way. Sorry. Fuck you. So on Anarcharos, the Rusted Claw are getting frustrated Claw with their Magus because he has such a high density of metal-eating midichlorian things that any vehicle they try to move... Yeah. Look at the microscopic symbiotes.
Why are we going... Yeah. So in the past 10 minutes, you've weaseled in Fallout and now Star Wars. If you can weasel in some Star Trek next, I will be impressed and also very disappointed in you.
I don't think there's a Star Trek.
I don't think there's a Star Trek. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So they reach out to the Bladed Clog, that being the Admech cultists.
Wait, Clog?
To make... Yeah, you're right. I did say Clog. Cog. That being the Admech cultists to make crates of plastic that are as strong as steel, which they then use to move their leaders around. They also use them to transport a bunch of alien animals that eat metal and then release them on the spaceports of Anakaros. And then there is anarchy on Anakaros as the cultists rise up and the aristocrats all find their ships half-eaten when they attempt to flee the planet. Okay. So, next, the Pauper Princes. They are a faction.
The Pauper Princes?
Pauper. You know, like poor people. Pauper.
Oh,
Pauper
I thought you were talking like Pawpaw.
No.
Like the Pawpaw cream.
Yeah. They're a faction. They exist. Then next we got the Twisted Helix. But before that, Corgi, it's time to do our fan favorite segment. What are the Pauper Princes?
What?
Hold up. It's our fan favorite segment. What are the Pauper Princes?
This is a trap. I can smell a trap, and this is certainly one of them.
Hold up. I have very prepared for what are the Pauper Princes. It's oh no! Preparing to install shit. Give me a second. I need to update. Okay. Yep. Nope. Logging in. Release highlights. I don't give a shit. Log in. Login tab is opened. Complete the process to continue. Shit.
Lol.
Everything's going wrong. Okay. Okay.
That's what you get for trying to boat me, bitch.
We're not boating. Oh no, everything's gone wrong. Oh, all the tabs are opening. Fuck. Hold up. With shit. Everything's gone wrong. Here we go. We're going to the wheel to play the game we play every week. What are the Pauper Princes? Every week we ask the question, what are the Pauper Princes? And maybe I answer the question, maybe I don't. Nobody knows. Today we spin the Pauper Princes wheel on what are the Pauper Princes? Yes! We find out what the Pauper Princes are today on today's episode of What are the Pauper Princes? What we do every week. The segment, What are the Pauper Princes? Let me just end the recording of this. Oh, it was a recording to begin with? Yes, it is. Let's stop that. What a fucking
You were
mess.
very unhinged today.
So let's stop streaming. There we go. And now we know, what are the Pauper Princes? So it looks like this week we are finally going to explain what are the Pauper Princes, and this will be the final time we play What Are the Pauper Princes, a segment we have done every week. What are the Pauper Princes, Corgi? Well, stemming from the slum world of Chance's Vale, so there's not a lot about their founding. Like usually there's a whole story. This is literally Chance's Vale is considered an imperial held world, but it's not run by Genestealers. They mine salt.
Take a deep breath for me.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever done, and it's so funny.
Yes, take a deep breath for me because I feel like you're about to have an asthma attack.
So they mine salt, which they send off to other planets that lack salt production. Dumbest thing I've ever done.
Oh, it's
We didn't even get to go to the other wheels.
No.
There were 3 wheels.
Show me the other wheels.
No.
This is why I hate gambling.
Yeah.
I also hate what I'm drawing, by the way. Why did I give him such a big... Anyway, what?
A large chunk of the people who joined the cult joined because they got word that there was a group that was helping people get off world. Their first magus...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Guy by the name of Tendark. Is that his real name? Or did I make it up? You won't fact check me.
I just want to know where the other numbers are. What happened to 9 Dark?
So, Tendark, maybe a fake name, was really good at public speaking. Got a lot of followers real quick. Then, a ratling tried to kill the Star Savior, their patriarch, and Tendark jumped in front of the bullet and got. So, then they ripped the ratling apart, but then Tendark was named a saint by the cult, and the cult quadrupled in size. They also now just hate ratlings. That's cringe. They go out of their way to kill ratlings.
The escalation of things is just wild today.
Yeah.
And then there were Genestealer bikers, and then there were people that rip apart ratlings, and it's like, aha.
Yeah. So, cultists from Chance's Vale also just look different. Very pale and wrinkly and considered more holy than the others because of their origins in the planet. From the planet. Also, big on martyrdom, just constantly sacrificing themselves to save their higher-ups. I imagine it's like that cultural knowledge of the head bodyguard diving in front of the president, but then there's a slightly lower rank bodyguard that dives in front of that one, and then the lowest bodyguard dives in front of that one, and then a cop dives in front of him, and then a civilian dives in front of the cop, so it's just some rando civilian that saved everyone else's lives.
God,
I think it's like that.
him.
Yeah. It's also noted that there is a recording of cultists sprinting through Promethean, aka Super Napalm, into oncoming Space Marines just to delay them for a moment so their leaders have a few more seconds of escape.
I mean, honestly, it's a very efficient tactic. I'm pretty sure we've done it before in video games.
Yeah.
Of course, it always ends with us fucking dying, but, stalled them just for a second.
So, here's a quote. There are reports of neophyte hybrids making dense walls out of their own bodies in front of their cult leaders, acting as living sandbags to soak up the phosphor bullets of the Castellan war clade without emitting a single scream of pain. There is even grainy footage of the pauper princes making a mass charge against the spiked rams of the Orc Bonebreaker wagons as to jam up their workings and protect their patriarch, only for the alpha predator to skitter nimbly up the side of a building without looking back. Also, super religious, if that wasn't established. Just data-driven and hyper-Christian.
At least it's accurate.
Yeah. I was expecting you to get that reference, but you didn't, but that's fine.
Data, what?
It's also just, super hard to kill their leaders, because they seem to be able to accurately predict dangers, so they are very rarely killed.
Well, to be fair, it probably doesn't help when Space Marines come running at them like, "For the Emperor!"
You peeked your mic and got cut out by Discord. It's probably in the recording, but
Insert for the Emperor here, but shouty.
Yeah. So, here's your time for your friendly reminder that humans with enough belief can create gods in the warp. There is a god of the Tau, created by humans. Her name is Talva. Might be a god of Genestealers, if they have just a supernatural precognition to danger. Don't know if the Tyranids can do that, but you know what could do? A magical god that they manifested into existence with the power of belief.
As I've no doubt said before, that's a tulpa.
Yeah. Seriously though, really good story potential for a one-off book where there is a god of the Genestealers that is the manifestation of what they think the Star Children is, and the devouring whatever that is competing with the Tyranids. There's the general belief of what the Genestealers think the Tyranids are, and that exists within the warp, and then there are the Tyranids that do not exist in the warp, and the warp don't be liking them.
Don't meet your heroes, kids.
Yeah. Except as we know from Day of Ascension,
sometimes meet your heroes.
Genestealer cults are kind of aware of what the Tyranids are, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. That's chill.
Yeah.
We're cool with this.
It's, I think you sent me the clip, actually. It's that book. Still haven't read it, by the way. That book, from what I've heard from you, reminds me of, what was it, Mr. and Nancy on the boat?
Oh, yes.
It's either keep living in poverty and slavery, or fucking die for the cause.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Yeah.
Great scene in a mid-show.
Yeah, I rewatched it yesterday and I was like, fuck! Still keeps hitting hard.
Yeah. And then they fired that guy.
Why?
Definitely wasn't a 5-minute break between the last sentence and this one. On the planet Vigilus, the pauper princes managed to constantly evade the Arbites.
The Arbites?
It's not Arbites, is it? It's the Arbites. You got in my head. Anyway.
I'm in your walls.
You constantly being like, it should be Arbites.
Yeah, because Arbites sounds cooler than Arbites.
Yeah. Anyway, the pauper princes managed to constantly evade the Arbites and Inquisition for generations, to the point legend started that the Patriarch was as intangible as mist. Eventually, however, orcs invaded. Worth noting, Vigilus is a notable planet, and it's going through a lot. It's finally starting to wind down, but it's the Imperium and Eldar fighting against Chaos, Orcs, Genestealers, Drukhari, and Eldar.
Classic.
Yeah. Eldar really went, I play both sides, so I always come out on top. But once the orcs invaded, the cultists then had to mount an active defense against the invasion to stop the destruction of the planet they are actively themselves trying to destroy. This defense really helped them even further cement their power in the upper echelons of the planet. Ultimately, Calgar and the Ultramarines showed up and helped take them out, but by that point, they had already managed to spread off planet. So I was looking up Calgar. This is supposed to be in the segment where I talk about Calgar. In the future, add this back in. I was looking up Calgar, and I found a listing of him on Wikipedia, on eBay to buy a model, and this is the paint job.
Oh, what the fuck? Ah, shit, I fucked up anyway. What the fuck happened to him? He looks like melted chocolate.
Yeah. So, back to the twisted helix on the planets of Vijovium 3.
What is dumb name Vijovian?
Yeah, they all have stupid names. Anyway, on Vijovium 3, it's a cyberpunk medical corporatocracy. Quote, everywhere the skyline is ridged with enormous metafactoria. These appear when viewed from the hive aristocracy's spires, like the laboratory of some godly sage. Spiral glass pipelines and chimneys belch strangely colored smoke along vast alembic structures and cooling towers. Given the influence they have over the lives and even anatomies of the population, the divine comparison is an apt one. Existential dread! That is unrelated to anything else. Just
reminding you that you should be dreading the fact that you are sentient.
No, it's completely unrelated to the episode. I just wrote an existential dread. It's not even like a joke. I just wrote an existential dread.
Maybe that was just you having a moment.
Yeah. So 3,000 to 4,000-ish years ago, they figured out, corporatocracy, figured out how to dull people's minds. There was a whole rebellion, and they started mixing mental inhibitory chemicals into the food paste and corpse starch, which is exactly what it sounds like, Corgi. Quote,
well, bone broth isn't that weird, so guess corpse starch shouldn't be either.
Yeah. Fun fact, a human can eat another human perfectly fine. They just can't eat a human's brains.
Sounds about right.
In general, you just shouldn't eat brains. Brains is always a fucking gamble. Most thing like meat you can eat, brains could kill you. Just don't eat brains.
Unless you really, really have to, in which case you're already dead.
Yeah. So, quote, the spread of this potent chemical saw the populace rendered docile, even bovine in its apathy to anything but the strongest stimulus. Imagine eating a paste that used to be your friend and then it turned you into the mental equivalent of a cow.
You don't know my life. Maybe I've already experienced that.
Yeah. I, for one, would be one of those hyper-aggressive, angry cows that try to kill everyone because it would be funny.
And then when they tried to shoot you, you just wouldn't be there.
Yeah, and it just wouldn't be there. So every now and then, a visitor would see this and go, what the fuck is wrong with you people? And try to stop it. It did not work. They were too important of a planet. Also, I loved reading this because it refers to the rulers as the rulers of the cult. This is just like the medical cult and not the Genestealer Cult. Totally not confusing, guys. So then the Genestealers rocked up. And by rocked up, I mean got imported illegally for experimentation. And the Genestealer attempted to convert the dock worker by hypnotizing him and then infecting him. And he took a page out of my playbook and simply went, what's that? Horrors beyond comprehension that would drive mortal men mad. Have you considered fucking off with that shit? And closed the airlock door on the Genestealer's offer poster while actively being brainwashed by the Genestealer. Just went, nah, I simply wouldn't go insane. And then just closed the door.
Yeah, they're just straight up knocking like Mormons and you're just like, well, sorry, not interested. And can you get out of my head, please? I'm not really vibing with that.
You shall form a cult and worship the star children. Lol, said the dock worker. Lamau. So, this clear safety violation was then reported to the overseer, who then reported it to the planetary leaders, who then filled the airlock with radiation baths, radiation baths, poison gas, sonic destabilizers, and acid mist. And then failing all that, shot them. They then dissected them. Nothing good followed. Quote, over the course of hundreds of exhaustive experiments, the medical overseers learned how to extract the germ seed from the pure strain from the cellular coating of those who had been blessed by the Genestealer's kiss. At the behest of the shadowy individual known only as the prime specimen, the implications of this discovery were exhaustively researched. It was eventually concluded that they stood on the threshold of a new evolution, that the Xenos gene pattern was the path to true perfection and perhaps even immortality.
And were they right?
A little. So then the aristocracy started to be all very carefully injecting themselves with Genestealer DNA, and like it does establish they were careful with it. It wasn't just like, ha! It was, okay, we did a lot of studies and like testing and we're like controlled rollouts. We're not just all doing it. We're just like, we're making sure all this works, and it was working. So then they just kept doing it. And so then they started to look like neophyte hybrids, which is like a 3rd or 4th generation mutation. So the 1st generation genetically changed to be 3rd or 4th generation. So they completely bypassed the curse and infection. So what do they do with this advantage? If you guessed, created lab-born Genestealers and started releasing them into the population, you would be correct.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
You've become enlightened, so you must share your knowledge with everyone.
Yeah. They somewhat correctly came to the conclusion that if they infect the population, they would be loyal and worship them. So while this is correct, they came to this conclusion because they thought they were gods, so not the right reason.
Well,
they weren't like, oh, it's a brainwashing thing. They're like, well, we're gods. And if we bestow our godly gifts on people, they will acknowledge that we are gods.
and they were technically right. They did become gods.
Well, they're not gods, they're cultists, but they're also like aristocracy, so they could, in theory, immortality is possible in the Warhammer universe, like ignoring perpetuals. You can take anti-aging drugs and live for like thousands of years. And if they're wealthy enough to be the planetary rulers, they can afford those drugs. So they could, in theory, just be immortal via age. And then the Genestealer mutation also will help them because it makes them like physically stronger. So it's like, they get physically stronger and more physically resistant to things, diseases, all that sort of shit, while also being immortal via drugs. They're also making drugs. They're like a drug-making planet. So it's entirely possible they're the ones making the immortality potions. So they're just like cutting a little bit off and taking their own immortality potions.
Taking a little bit off the top.
So on top of that, they started infecting the medical supplies they made. So you get some pain, need some painkillers. Congratulations, you're a cultist now.
You need an aspirin for your migraine? Welcome to the cult. What?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just stripping away the informed consent.
I need an aspirin. That's cool. Have you heard about God?
Have you heard God? Heard God? Ugh, fucking hell. So hard to color in sometimes with this fucking app.
So, those who manage to tank the infection are then given compulsory tablets to make sure they do, in fact, get infected, and then a midnight visit to again make sure they are infected.
Ugh, body snatching energy.
Anyway, all this experimenting bollocks means they have a much higher abundance of monstrosities. Atomic monsters. Atomic supermen with octagonal-shaped bodies that suck blood. Second time I've used that joke. They usually keep these guys secret. Then, when war were declared, they fill them full of steroids.
Classic.
And painkillers, and release them upon their enemies.
There's this really weird dude named Mike, and you've got him in a harness, like one of the seeing guide dog harnesses. You're just holding him, and he's like, oh, let me at him, let me at him, let me at him, foaming at the mouth.
Imagine if Breaking Bad ended like when, spoilers for Breaking Bad, when Walt goes and attacks the Nazis, instead of like creating this whole like machine gun thing, he just went, and here's my never before seen 1 story tall fucking, 600 kilo steroid up fucking monster that is bulletproof. Attack!
His name
and
is
then it just
Princess.
goes and attacks everything.
His name is Princess. Treat him well because he'll be tearing you apart.
I'm sorry. I think I just fucking noticed no. Jesus. Okay. Okay. Hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there when we get there. Anyway, the point is, I don't know if they summon the Tyranid Hive. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. Because it's like, they've got a mysterious benefactor known as the first, whatever the fuck it was called. the prime specimen. That could be the patriarch, and they're like taking orders from the prime specimen, so they could be a patriarch, but they could also just like be a bunch of weirdo little cultist guys or like medical cult who just accidentally stumbled into being a Genestealer cult, and they literally don't, because they lab growing their own Genestealers, though they are infecting people with those lab grown Genestealers.
Damn, shout out to David.
Like, it's entirely possible they just completely bypass the whole Genestealer thing. They don't have a patriarch, and they're just their own cult with themselves at the top. It was kind of sparse on this information. I did try and look a little bit, but I couldn't see anything. I might have had to look further. I don't know. Point is, anyway, so on the planet Astrid,
She was a
the
bitch.
Sanctus by the known of Zeneca, and I'm realizing now, I didn't realize this as I wrote it, I'm realizing now, it's Astrid Zeneca. I don't know if this is intentional or not. I don't know if they went, let's name the planet Astrid, very close to Astra, and then name the Sanctus Zeneca, very close to for the Twisted Helix, very close to the medical mega corporation AstraZeneca. Who knows?
I was just thinking Ad Astra.
Wouldn't put it past them. Anyway,
Sauce.
so on Astrid, Zeneca, the Sanctus, that being like a sniper that shoots drugs, fires a dart at the Arch Cardinal as he's speaking in front of millions of people. And as he is talking about the immunity of the pious in the face of the insidious Xenos, he swells up like a balloon and explodes. Also known as pulling a Judas.
Judas, no.
This causes some problems, but they appoint a new Arch-Cardinal from off-world, open new trade, and have compulsory Medicaid visits. And then, for some unknown reason, they have the, quote, new wars of faith. Okay. And
you good?
lastly, Corgi, we have the final faction. Whose boat is that boat? Corgi. Whose boat is that boat?
I don't give a shit, and I wish you would stop this.
Corgi, whose boat is that boat? Look at the
Never
boat.
mind.
Whose boat is it?
I'm suddenly interested. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say Slanesh.
Nope. Whose boat is Corgi, whose boat is that boat?
Thulu.
Nope. Corgi, whose boat is that boat?
Alexander Hamilton?
What the actual fuck?
I don't know what you want me to say. I'm sorry, but I don't know why. I can't think of a single thing that correlates between Genestealers and tentacles.
You haven't even gotten close. Like not even close. Because you see, we're doing Genestealers and then tentacles, and you went, what if I moved completely away from Genestealers and started talking about things that are completely unrelated to Genestealers? You could have said Genestealers and you would have been vaguely close. But you didn't. You didn't do that at all. You went, Slanesh.
Yeah, because when I think of weird kinky shit, I'm like, okay, that sounds like Slanesh's corner.
Slanesh's excess. It's not kinky shit. That's not how Slanesh works. It's not kinky shit.
That's not how the Force works.
It's excess. It's the pursuit of excess and perfection and sensory over thing. It's not just like, I like bondage. It's not that. It's, I like bondage and then being sliced up with a fucking knife so I can feel what pain feels like while I'm on like 17 different drugs that heighten the feeling. That's what Slanesh is, not I like being tied up. I like tentacles. It's everything else. It's all the excess around that. It's not what Slanesh is. So whose fucking boat is that, Corgi?
Genestealers.
There we go. You're wrong, but you're at least vaguely close. I'm not giving you a fraction of a point, though.
Yeah, good, because I'm already at 3.75.
Yeah. Also, thanks for keeping track. I figured there was a chance that you were keeping track.
Me? No.
No, not you. I need to grab the name. I'm like 90 on the name. Nos something.
Nosferatu.
Nos 2342. Thank you for keeping track of that. I'm not gonna lie. When I said whoever's keeping track, thought it was gonna be you. It was you. We're good. Worst case scenario, someone had to go back and keep track.
And that someone would have been you.
Yeah. Anyway, so Corgi's on 3.75 points, and she's not getting even 25% of a point for this. So
I tried to draw like someone holding back a feral creature, but it looks more like they're just pushing a lawnmower that happens to be a feral grass-eating person.
Fair enough. I dread to see what you draw for the tentacles.
Oh, good idea. I didn't actually think of that.
So, that is incorrect, Corgi. Did you know that sometimes I just write me telling you it's wrong into the script because I know you'll get it wrong?
Did you know that you're totally adopted?
Not, but that's fine. It belongs to the Ymgarl. Corgi, so do you remember
No.
in episode 5 when I said that the Tyranids arrived in M41, but they actually arrived in M35 with the Hive Fleet Tiamat, named after the Tiamat system they were discovered in? Not sure why I'm telling you this, Corgi, because you obviously remember it from episode 5, released on the 30th of July 2024. You remember this?
Yeah.
You remember this, Corgi? Obviously.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yep.
But for the people who don't...
I just told you. The Tyranids arrived in M41, but they actually arrived in M35 with Hive Fleet Tiamat, named after the Tiamat system they were discovered in.
And now that we've rehashed it twice, there's no way anyone can misinterpret that.
Yeah. And you knew this the entire time because you remember. You remember the things I tell you about in the episodes. So now the Ymgarl Genestealers are descended from Tiamat, coming from the moon of Ymgarl, planet in the Tiamat system. So now's here where I would read a cool excerpt, but nothing fills me with more dread on this podcast than looking at the sole source, and it's an issue of White Dwarf.
And for those not familiar...
They're so hard to fucking get. I think I almost bought this exact issue the other weekend. So I guess I'll die. I went to like a book fest and it was all like used stuff, and I found like 12 issues of White Dwarf, and it's like I could buy this and it cost me $90. It was also like they were charging like $9 for a fucking White Dwarf, and I'm like, bro, should be like 5, 6, not 9.
You could have haggled.
And it wasn't really a haggling sort of situation. But then like the fucking I chose not to because it was just like I could buy this and I spent $90 on what will never come up again. Anyway, I hate having to try and find White Dwarf as a source. Fuck off. So if I do find this issue, which I will look later, I will upload the story separately another time because it sounded cool. Long story short, a guy and like soldiers and stuff, went to check on a research base on a moon of Ymgarl and then discovered an empty base with signs of a battle and a single body of a staff member who had committed suicide. They then later encountered what would become known as the Ymgarl Genestealers.
Ymgarl.
Yeah, it sounded really cool. It's in issue 266 of White Dwarf. Fucking hate it. Anyway, where was I?
Rambling about
the
something.
The Ymgarl Genestealers would slowly manage to spread out from the moons through the standard Genestealer method, though for the longest time they were thought to be a native species of the moon and native to the Milky Way. Their mouths are tentacled, rather than regular bitey, which they use to drink all the blood from their victims. The only thing they eat.
They're very
blood. You just went with tentacled mouths and looked at nothing else because they're a lot more closer to, like fucking mind flayers or some shit.
Yeah, but when I think of mind flayers at the moment, I just think of fucking stupid Dream Guardian. It's not important.
They also have to constantly eat or hibernate because they have limited shapeshifting abilities, which fuck with their metabolism. As far as I can see, it doesn't explain how and why they can do that, but it's most likely similar to the mouse strain. There is just 5,000 years, give or take, of inbreeding and mutation that has led them to genealogically diverge enough to gain alternative abilities. But because of this divergence, much like the mouse strain, the Hive Fleet doesn't actually want to reabsorb them. I actually have pictures of the fucking guys. Oh, this is your old mouse strain Genestealers. This is what they used to look like. Oh, not mouse strain. Ymgarl Genestealers.
Yeah.
This is what they now look like.
Jesus, I don't even have tryptophobia, but they freak me out a little. Yeah. Oh yeah, that is just straight up mind flayer.
Yeah. So the Hive Fleet doesn't absorb them. They also don't really seem to make cults from what I was reading, but they do the standard Genestealer thing of hide away on ships and spread. They will also try and find hive fleets and take part in Tyranid invasions, only to then be ignored, and the hive fleet will then move on without them.
So
More than happy to use them, but their DNA poses a risk if absorbed into the general DNA thing they do.
So they're basically a virus.
Yeah, more or less. It's more genetic diversion. They're like a separate species to your standard Genestealers, like straight up a separate species. And if the Tyranid Hive Fleet is worried that if they absorb their DNA into it and it gets included in their standard DNA repertoire that they pulled from, it might corrupt all the other DNA. And because they seem to be, they have to eat constantly and they only eat blood, it does seem like it's not great to get other things infected because they don't really seem to do Genestealer shit. They're just like, eat blood.
Consume blood.
Yeah. So, moving on. Here's some stuff that the Cult of the Four-Armed Emperor did that I forgot to put in the last episode. So, the Trist dynasty is hired to mine the lava rivers for the Imperium on Thousand Isle. This goes great. So, you know the Day of Ascension, right, Corgi? Where the Genestealers rise up and overthrow their oppressors?
Yes.
Yeah. On Thousand Isle, we have the Day of Eruption, where the volcanoes rise up to overthrow their oppressors.
What? The volcanoes?
Yeah. It's a volcano planet. And they were hired to mine the volcanoes and the lava rivers of the volcano. And
the
volcanoes rose up. Yeah. So all the lava tunnels that have been mined suddenly overflow with lava, which then begins to rise. So now all the mining gangs start climbing to get to higher ground, which brings them into direct conflict with the spire hunters, who are a necromunda thing. They're basically kids of aristocrats who wear mech suits to kill the poor to prove that they're ruthless.
For them.
And they say Warhammer has no politics. The cultists just gradually take more land and eventually take over the planet 1 year after arriving. Because the volcanoes rose up.
Rise up, volcanoes.
Yeah. Rise, my volcano brethren.
This is our fucking job.
It's not our job.
Not yet, it is.
It's your job.
Oh.
I have a different job. So, here's the part of the episode where I add things that I found that I don't have anywhere to put. So, the Cult of the Star Saviors gets its patriarch and Magus murked by the Navy. But salvation comes with the arrival of the Tyranid fleet. This was wrong. It was just a week-long meteor shower. Everyone died. The people that do land on the planet are now met with post-apocalyptic hellscape and are killed by random tribes and leaderless cult members.
Classic.
An Eldar Farseer farsees a Genestealer cult by the name of Tendrakul on an Imperial space station. The Eldar decide to purge the cult from the station by killing every human on the space station. The distress signal gets answered by the, oh no, Black Templars. The Templars save the remaining humans and chase off the Eldar. Within a year, the Tendrakul symbols are seen on a dozen worlds, including an Eldar Maiden world.
Eldar
One
Maiden?
cultist?
What makes it a maiden world?
It's just like a newly...
like a maiden voyage, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Maiden worlds are the worlds that they colonize, like the new ones that they've colonized, because Eldar have their whole thing going on. I that might be wrong. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've read about the Eldar. And they're all their fucking different fucking names. But it's an Eldar planet, basically. So one cultist then uses the warp to enter the Pokemon universe and tries to beat the Elite Four using only Tentacruel. She loses.
I bet she was trying to go up against Cynthia. Fucking Garchomp, man.
So, on Ekavoria, there is a fairy tale about the Gnarling that will eat disobedient children. This turns out to be true, and everyone gets Echovored.
Never say that word to me again.
No. The Tau find a Genestealer. They figure it out. A guy gets infected. 20 years later, everything goes tits up and the planet collapses to war. It is quarantined for 10 years before being declared productive and clean by an ethereal named Ymgarl. A name that very much sounds like own goal. I totally figured that out on my own. It definitely wasn't pointed out to me by someone else. A cult ship gets stuck in Nurgle's garden.
Oh, come on. Nurgle worked hard on his garden.
F's in chat for them. Eventually, Nurgle lets them go. They are horrifically changed and ready to work for Nurgle. Calgar Exterminatus is an agri-world called Cornucopia, which is like such a major name, you'd think it would have been used for something other than getting Exterminatus in a footnote.
Yeah, you would have thought so, but
Yeah.
kind of a common.
A space wolf gets trapped under a city district and it's just him and an entire hive of cultists. Then the doom music kicks in. When the guard retake the district, they find the space wolf alone, wounded and out of ammo.
Fucking A.
Yeah. The cult of the inner worm hide a bunch of pure strain Genestealers in the bodies of Grox. Groxes that they then send to planets for processing. During an uprising on Terenci 9, the invading Tyranids didn't kill the cultists. They then took off in spaceships and hung out with the Nid fleet and invaded all the planets with the Nivs, because the Nids are just chill like that.
On the bright side, there is a lot of drawings.
That's good. Sometimes there's been a few. Not a lot, and it's like, ugh.
What am I supposed to do with this? Go fuck yourself.
That's the Genestealers. That's the end of the video. For the time being, the last we'll ever look into the Genestealers until I probably find that recording that fucking issue and make a recording of that story. I might just upload that as the side, and then also I want to do probably a mini-sode will be more in the line of the Trench Crusade videos where it's just me, where we have talk about
Try again. Less having stroke.
Where I just explained the old style Genestealers and how they used to work. Because there's not a lot there. It's really just like, they did this. So it's, 5-10 minutes, but it's interesting enough to just have this is how they used to work. Aside from that, I thought I wrote this into the script and then I realized I didn't. So I have a job now. Technically, I have multiple jobs because that's just how my industry works. For legal reasons, I can't really talk about my job. Anyway.
For legal reasons, me having a job was a joke.
Yeah. So don't expect Che talks about his job end of video content. I can't. But I might like reference stuff around it, but like I can't. Anyway, I have an income now, and I work very small hours for very high pay. So I can now afford to buy Codex books because I've had a job the past fucking 6 months, 7 months, and I have been doing stuff. I've been trying to think of like, what are we gonna do in the next episode? Because the next episode is going to be Trench Crusade because I want to. They put out some new lore a couple weeks back, and I don't read the new lore until I'm making an episode on it, because then I actually I want the ideas to be fresh in my head rather than I've forgotten about this. So I can write it. I want to cover that because I actually want to fucking learn about it because it sounds cool from what little I've seen about it. And then I'm like, what will I do next? I really want to do Cafe, but like I need to get the book and I can't find the book online because like I don't. And I'm like, no, wait, I have a job. I can just buy the book. I can just buy Cafe Battletome. So I will do Cafe because I really want to read that book. I really want to learn about Cafe and dive into Cafe because I can afford books now. Anyway,
the way you say that, like you were just living under a bridge.
Yeah, literally, it was a
Penny pinching.
Oh man, this costs money and I don't have money. No, wait, I do. I have $70 and they have in stock. How do I get this book? Money can be exchanged for goods and services. Anyway, fucking yeah. That was it. I know I said I'm not going to say what I'm doing the next because I never do it, but I can guarantee, because I have an immense interest in both of these things, the next video is going to be Trench Crusade and the next video is going to be Cathay.
And the next video for me will be nothing because I haven't finished off an SCP script yet. Whoop.
Yeah, but I don't really need your SCP scripts
I don't need you
at the moment because...
What?
I don't need you. Leave! I might be able to actually fucking get you in a Trench Crusade video. Corgi was supposed to be in the last Trench Crusade video, like those 5-minute ones that I do. She was supposed to be there, but she had COVID, so she wasn't able to make it.
Not my fault. The backstreet
like part of the reason,
out.
part of the reason she's not in those videos is because they're either very last minute, and I knock them out in a day, or I make them because Corgi's unavailable, but it's like she's not there because she's not invited. It's not that she's not there because she's not invited. She has been invited to multiple ones and she's gone, I can't do it. It's like, okay.
I can't do it. I'm fighting for my fucking life.
Yeah, so hopefully she'll be in the next one.
Fingers crossed.
I don't know what you can really
Gush about
contribute to theological discussions, but
I can gush over
try.
nuns.
There are no nuns.
There's none of it?
No.
Then why would you invite me if there's no big titty nuns?
But yeah, anyway, that's unrelated.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to
thanks for watching.
Like, share, subscribe. Oh, hell.
Check out the short.
Yeah.
Check out the short.
Yeah.
Check out the short. Because if it does well, it's doing really weirdly at the moment. It's doing
I just need more people.
Differently to how every other short I've ever uploaded.
I just need more people to look at my art so I can get that validation, because I'm telling you, sometimes I just go onto Che's Reddit account and just see people's reactions to the art that he posts that's my art, and I'm just like, oh wow.
Which I haven't done for
like
ages, but you know, that's...
Yeah, but last night...
Well, I did the one the other day and it didn't do well, but that's...
Yeah, no, last night I was looking at it and so, I remember seeing a comment where it was like, you can't be getting me this horny this early, and I'm like, thank you. Yeah. I know you're probably just being funny, but the idea that my twink emperor is in any way...
I don't remember how Twink Emperor came about. It was a conscious decision, by the way, like Twink Emperor. I think Corgi accidentally drew him Twinkie, and I was like, why is he so Twinkie? And Corgi was like, oh, I can fix it, and I went, no. I think that's how it came about. The duck custodies came about because Corgi absolutely fucking fumbled the spear and made it a butter knife, and I just sent her the duck with the knife and just went, draw one of them as a duck.
Yeah, and unfortunately he wouldn't let me, like, draw the other custodies.
You wanted to make it, like, super over-the-top horny, and I was like, no.
I was just gonna put him in a schoolgirl outfit because you were pushing me, man. You were pushing me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that video, right, as of recording, it has 473 views. So usually how a short does, right, for me, it'll go up, and then it'll get, let's say, 400 views within a day, and then it drops the fuck off, just like completely stops getting views whatsoever, and it almost never gets views again. Or might do the same thing for 2 or 3 days, but it'll go to 1,000 or 10,000, and then it'll stop. I put that up Wednesday, and it's still getting like 1 view every hour, 1 or 2 views every hour. Maybe there might be an hour here and there where it gets no views. I've never had that happen on a short before. So I don't know if this video is doing well or not, because it's doing fine. It's going past what it would normally go past if it was a failure, which would be 400 views before it stops. But it's not skyrocketed and then plateaued and completely stopped.
It's just sort of like coasting along.
Yeah, it's just coasting along, and I'm like, I don't know if this is good or not. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, as always, shout out to Balfridge and Nose, because they're always on every single...
Always.
They're always there. Fucking love yous.
Yeah. It's nice, like, I stopped getting emails with the comments, which is annoying. But yeah, it's always nice being like, I at least know someone will comment. Someone will see it and appreciate it. Also, the guy that's been, like, really heavy on getting the Genestealer videos out. It's just like, I appreciate you.
Straight up, do it for her meme. Do it for them.
But yeah.
Better wrap up.
Some of that will be end of video content. Some of that will be the actual end of video. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, go check that out. Yeah, as Corey said, like, share, and subscribe. Let your Genestealer friends know. Let the cult know. If you're in a cult, send it to your cult friends.
And if you're not in a cult, start one. And then send it to them.
Yeah. Anyway, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. I got bubble tea. I've had bubble tea the entire time. I've just never mentioned it until now.
It's very monkey's paw. Outback Steakhouse? Oh, but it's in a Nala.
I saw a meme many years ago, back when I was in high school. That was the Lion King thing of, you know, all that the light touches is yours. What is that dark patch over there? Well, Simba, that is a Nala. You should never go there. Which
is a bit weird considering Simba's love interest is Nala. So you would think... Yeah. Just a little bit of confusion for the kid before he fucking dies.
There's a really nice suburb called Forest Lake that I've always wanted to live in. and it borders Anala, and I was looking at the reviews of it, and people were like, yeah, it's good, but we live next to Anala, and sometimes your house gets robbed, and you go to the police, and they go, they're probably from Anala, and then they find them, and they're from Anala. It's just like, cool. That being said, I also saw a post that someone was just like, yeah, I lived in Anala, and I used to live next to junkies, and they were always tweaking, but they were so nice, and they would say hi and bye, and I'd talk to them, and they were so friendly, but they were junkies, and they were always on drugs. But then they got gentrified and moved out. Now it's just some people that refuse to talk to me, and they're so rude every single time I interact with them. I miss my junkie neighbors, and it's just like, yeah.
Yeah,
poverty does create community, and then gentrification destroys community.
Yeah, they did crack. Yeah, they used to punch the air, but you know what? They were really
It's Australia.
nice.
We don't do crack. We do meth.
I thought it was the same thing.
Crack is
I don't do
cocaine.
drugs.
Ice is meth.
Right.
But that's why meth is so popular in Australia. Basically, any drug that doesn't have to be imported is popular because
Import fees are
drugs
tragic.
cost a lot of money in Australia. A lot of money. Because we're a fucking island and it's really hard to smuggle drugs in here. So if you can just make them, preem.
Which, speaking of drugs and Australia, Schedule 1's a pretty damn good game.
And it's finally unbanned in Australia.
So ridiculous.
I'm like 90% sure the only reason it got unbanned is because it's an Australian game. It's made by an Australian dev. If it wasn't made by an Australian dev, 100% they would have banned that game because they're a bunch of fucking cowards and I hate them.
Yeah, shout out to Tyler. I think that's his name.
Shout out to the Australian Classification Board for sucking.
Well, yeah, but we already knew that.
No. When I was coming home from TAFE one day, this will be partially censored. I used to drive another student home because she lived like right next to TAFE, and otherwise she'd fucking sleep in and not.
Mood.
Yeah, she just wouldn't show up. So I would show up, knock on a window, wake her up, and then drive her into TAFE, and then I'd just drive her home because it's like, well, I might as well just do that as well because it's on the way. But like, we were talking about something, and I think she brought up the fact that she doesn't know her east and west and all. She doesn't know our cardinal directions. And then then I'm like, well, like it's a compass. I was explaining the compass. It's just like, yeah, but how do magnets work? And and we were with another friend. This was by the way. We were with.
That's 2 bleeps.
Has appeared in the show twice. That name will be censored out, but a friend of mine who's been on the show twice was also there, and she was just like, well, good luck with that, and then just went home. And I was just stuck having to explain magnets to someone,
man, how do they work?
and how magnets work. I was friends with a tradie for a while. Someone was just like, how do you have so much money? Like every tradie I know or like I've encountered, just they're always so poor. And he was like, because they're all on meth. I don't do meth.
They're either all on meth, have a cigarette or vape addiction, alcoholism.
Probably both. Probably all, to be honest.
Don't forget the energy drinks.
Yeah, I mean, that's why fly in, fly out is such a popular, like, mining condition. Because, like, I knew a guy who wasn't a miner, but worked in mines as an engineer. And he was just, like he would occasionally just fly out for 3 weeks onto the mine site. Because he usually didn't fly out. He would, spend most of his days in the city working from an office, but occasionally he'd fly out from mine site. And he's like, there's nothing to do in these towns but go to the bar and drink, or the pub and drink. The only pub in the town, and drink with all the other miners because there's nothing to fucking do. And it sucks and I hate it.
I just want to have a good time, but unfortunately there's no like Dave and Buster's, so I guess I gotta go fuck myself and get some tequila.
This is the same guy. He's not a talkative guy. But he one day went, like, I was just like, oh, how's work going? And he's like, not great. I'm flying out to a mine site next week. And I'm like, oh, where are you going? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean I don't know? And he's like, well, I'm either going to Nigeria or Egypt. I'm not sure which one. My bosses don't know, and they'll let me know, like, the day before I'm flying. And one of those I'm a lot less happy about going than the other one. It ended up being Egypt. He flew out to Egypt, which was the one that he was more happy to go to than Nigeria, where he was just like, yeah, there's a lot I need to do to prepare for Nigeria, and I don't know if I'm at Nigeria, so I don't have the time to prepare for Nigeria.
Well, I mean, at least you got a lot of options.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, no, it's just two, but, you know.
It was either, hey, you're going to southern Egypt, or going to a place where you need to load up on my malaria medicine. You don't have the time to know whether you need to load up on malaria medicine. Good luck.
If you die, well, good thing you're replaceable.
I asked him how Egypt was, and his only response was, I'm real sick of Arabic. It's a very shouty language. And that was the only information I ever learned about how Egypt was.
The only thing I know about Egypt is that it's not safe for women.
It's not, but it's probably better than other... Depends on where you go, and it's probably better than some other places.
Yeah, a lot of places aren't safe for women. It's
Yeah,
disconcerting.
but...
Come visit this place. Oh, I'd love to. Oh, those statistics.
But it's kind of like Mexico, where there's an element of there's a large amount of tourism, so there's a social agreement of you don't fuck with tourists. So it's not great to live there, but to visit, as long as you stick within like
the safe
tour
areas.
groups and stuff, you're completely fine because there's a general agreement you don't fuck with tourists. Because that's where our fucking economy comes from. And if you fuck with tourists, then no one shows up. So, you know, Mexico is a very unsafe place, but you're very unlikely to be targeted by organized crime if you're not from Mexico.
Yeah, fun fact, that's actually why people are able to survive Australia. Because we know not to fuck with the tourists. If it wasn't for that rule, you guys would
100% fuck with tourists all the fucking time.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No,
it's a national pastime to fuck with tourists. No. We lie to them. Everything we say is a lie. Every single time we talk to them, it's a lie. And then you can go to another person and go, is this a lie? And then they'll go, no, that's true.
Yeah, drop bears.
So many things. The amount of times I've had someone come up to me and tell me the most insane shit and go, yo, some guy just told me this. Is this real? And I go, oh yeah, of course. We all know that. Yeah. It's just what we do.
Yeah, because it's funny.
It's funny. It's funny to lie to people and make them live the rest of their life thinking Australians do certain things that we do not do and have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, but we just go, yeah, we do. It's great.
Yeah, a lot of Australians are pathological liars, specifically towards tourists. Or maybe we're not. Who knows? Am I lying? Am I telling the truth? Go fuck yourself, that's what. But watch out for those drop bears.
You met him, the Canadian guy.
Oh yeah.
And he would like told me like he would go to bars and stuff, and he'd start speaking in because he's he has like the American accent because it's very like border, and he'd start talking to people, and then just people are like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, and then they'll be like, oh, you know, where you from? And it's like, oh, I'm from Canada, and they go, oh, you're from Canada, are you? That's cool. And then just the entire tone would shift because it was like, oh, you're not American? Awesome.
Yeah, an unfortunate side effect.
Australians don't like tourists.
Well, American tourists. Everyone else we can kind of deal with.
No, we don't like tourists. We also don't like British tourists either.
Yeah, that's because they're the ones who were fucking exiling us to this place, and then they're like, wow, you guys survived, and it's like, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the Rusty Claw. Why?
Except as we know from Day of Ascension,
sometimes
Genestealer Cults are kind of like aware of what the Tyranids are, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. That's chill.
Yeah.
We're cool with this.
It's, I think you sent me the clip, actually. It's that book. Still haven't read it, by the way. That book, from what I've heard from you, reminds me of, what was it? Mr. Anansi on the boat?
Oh, yes.
Where it's like, yeah, either keep living in poverty and slavery, or fucking die for the cause.
Yeah, it was a great scene.
Yeah.
Great scene in a mid-show.
Yeah, I rewatched it yesterday and I was like, fuck! Still keeps hitting hard.
Yeah. And then they fired that guy.
Why?
Because he wrote that monologue, and then he has a monologue in season 2, and It's basically it's an angry black guy who's angry at the system of oppression that currently exists for black people in the United States, and they went, "Hey, can you not do that and write one that's more like chill and like how but we can like exist within the system and like change the system inside the system rather than like
Make
actively
it
rising
happy.
up and forcing change through political violence." And then they went, can you not write a speech like that?" And he went, "Lol, no. What? You hired me to play this character. This is the character that I'm playing, and then you've also given me the ability to write my own scripts and speeches, and I'm writing what the character would say, and now you're telling me to not do that. Also, I would like credit for writing the stuff that you've hired me to write. You've told me to write this stuff, and you're not crediting me for the writer." And they're like, yeah, you're fired. Yeah. There was also a lot of other stuff. There was a lot of racism on that set. You can look at what other people have said.
I don't think I want to. I don't know. I don't want to look at depressing truths. I want bittersweet lies.
Yeah. It's also a Neil Gaiman show, so you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they did do with this advantage, if you guess, created lab-born Genestealers and started releasing them into the population. I fuck that. I remember talking to someone, like, we were just sort of talking vaguely about religion. Neither of us are religious. But they're like, "Whatever happened to Judas?" And I'm like, "Well, he felt guilty. He hanged himself and then he exploded." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, he exploded. He hanged himself, then he exploded. That's what happened." And they were so confused by the "and then he exploded" part.
Well, yeah, that's not normally
Judas-
what happens when you hang yourself.
Yeah. Judas explodes.
There's a big old...
I was really hoping you would just say something explicit about tentacles, and then I just got to bleep it for like a really long time.
You could probably still do that anyway.
Yeah, I could, but it's not as funny if it's like actually in there. And Google's dumb shit, fucking stupid AI thing.
Me when I
Told me.
me when I spread misinformation.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to when I Googled Tom King CIA to just like find out more about Tom King being in the CIA. And it was just like, oh, there are two possible things that it could refer to. This fictional character Tom King or this fictional character Tom King. And neither of them are in the CIA and they have nothing to do with the CIA. And the image shown saying, me back in my CIA days, I remember the hair fondly, is just a knowing reference to this Tom King, the fictional character who, some people think might have had CIA ties, but didn't. And it's just a joke to the 80s show. And it's just like, nah, man, I'm looking for Tom King, the author, the real guy that we know who was in CIA because he doesn't talk about it. And the picture that you're referencing in your AI overview is a picture Tom King posted to his own fucking Instagram from when he was in the CIA and is being shout out to my CIA days. I like this hair rather than the hair I had now because I used to be in the CIA. Fuck you, stupid AI. That fuck you is both to the CIA and Google AI, but mostly fuck. Anyway, none of that's being kept in because it doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, point is, fucking stupid AI bullshit. Because this whole Tiamat conversation isn't being kept in.
Sorry.
Things that gotta get cut out.
Obviously. God.